come to the bold analysis. The political standing of Kiharu Member of Parliament, who is also the head of Budget Committee in the National Assembly, Ndindi Nyoro, since the finance bill, the cabinet reshuffles after the Gen Z protest, and many other developments remains a puzzles that many are yet to unravel. Throughout the Rigathi Gachagua impeachment bravado that was being coordinated by Kimani Ichung'wah, the Kikuyu Member of Parliament, Ndindi Nyoro, has maintained his silence. Multiple media reports have emerged on what exactly is the end game. In this podcast, we unravel the secret engagements between Ndindi Nyoro and Rigathi Gachagua. Now, this would be unusual at a time when the country understands that the man who wants to change his deputy is none other than William Ruto. So if Ndindi Nyoro meets Rigathi, then clearly there is more than what meets the eye. Before we get more into those details, I want to remind you about our Granny Care project, Nyandarua Elderly Mission. This weekend, of course, until next week, we will be supporting 3 elderly women in Nyandarua, Kipiripiri. Now, as you can see, these elderly women stay in a squatter camp. That squatter camp, they were given allotment letters way back when Uhuru Kenyatta was the president. But they have not been able to establish houses. And as the ones you can see there are the ones they had. Now, what I've been told is that these houses are in a very bad condition, and the last time it rained in April, actually the whole of it was drained. So they just patches that were done. That is why we decided that what we can do, we can construct new structures. Now, I've been told that I asked the chief and the senior teacher from the region who linked us to, who brought this to our attention, that they prefer mabati structures alafu inawekwa plywood ndani. Even around the area, that is what now the others have also, even those who are able, have also been doing. So I've been told ukiweka plywood ndani, then it is just better. Now they prefer mabati because it's not easily swept when it rains. Now this other one ya mchanga, nasema ukiweka mchanga zitanguka kukinyesha, and it's a difficult one to manage. So we will put a new structures for them, just make them look good, and then hizi zingine zenye zimebaki they can use to cook. It can serve as now like kitchen. So we really need a huge budget for this. Actually, the budget is around 250, but we trust God, we trust ourselves that we can be able to do it. So that is why I'm reaching out to us on 100 bob challenge so that we can raise. So far I have 26,000. I think I have 26,005 iron sheets that have been donated by one of us from Nyandarua. So my deficit is around 224,000. Yeah, but of course we still have time because we'll start actually next week, probably even on Tuesday, because remember we can only buy materials on Monday. We thought we could do Sunday, but Sundays it's not very possible. So we only do it on Monday. So we shall start working, probably the first house, we shall start working on the first house on Tuesday. So for the week long, we shall be on this project to make sure we deliver it. I believe that by Friday next week, we'll be able to have delivered all the 3, constructed all the 3 houses. And kindly support. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for those who appealed. I really love the fact that people are taking up Granny Care. We did Granny Care in Kilifi. Now this time round we decided to go to Mulima and do it in Nyandarua. Then I know from Nyandarua we shall go to another region. But for now, let's support these 3. They are our projects for this month. Now, back to the Ndindi Nyoro story.
They touted him as incoming deputy president. Others named him the best member of parliament in Kenya. Others even went as far as attributing the woes that impeached DP Gachagua is going through as the work of his hands. This is none other than Kiharu 1, Samson Ndindi Nyoro. However, since the crumbling of the Finance Bill of 2024, now to the impeachment debate of Rigathi Gachagua, Nyoro's silence is deafening. Where is he and what has he been up to? NTV's Brian Mushiri went looking.
Prior to the 2024 Finance Bill being kicked out, Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro was on the road and in the air, traversing the country from constituency to constituency, drumming up support for the bill. His movements at that time were viewed as a plan to take up the deputy president position. Some members of parliament even endorsed him as the next DP and even president once William Ruto completes his term. Further, some members moved to Kiharu constituency to benchmark on his NGCDF projects, and with this, the wars between Gachagua and Ndindi intensified. For instance, on the 1st of May this year, Ndindi Nyoro visited Mathioya constituency, which had been hit by a landslide tragedy. There, Ndindi delivered a contribution of 2 million shillings alleged from the president himself, and hours later, then Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua also came to the area and gave his 1 million shillings of relief. Kiambu woman representative Anne Wamuratha confirming that there was a serious rift between Ndindi Nyoro and Rigathi Gachagua.
Mimi nikaona ni kama aliassume hawa vijana, kwa sababu walikuwa vijana wengi, wanataka kumreplace na Ndindi.
Okay.
Akaanza kuwa threatened na akaanza vita na Ndindi.
However, since the fall of the Finance Bill 2024 and the inception of the Gachagua wars, Ndindi Nyoro has loudly been silent. First, Ndindi did not sign the motion of impeachment against Gachagua, and secondly, he was not in the voting against the motion like other President William Ruto lieutenants. Insiders within President William Ruto's corner indicate that Ndindi's silence may have costed him the deputy president's nominee position, and the position subsequently landed on Professor Kithure Kindiki's laps. Even when others were lobbying for the position of DP, he is reported to have been conspicuously missing. Ndindi's silence has evoked conversation in the corridors of power.
There were attempts for the president, and the reports that the president even invited the Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro in some of the events that has been holding in Mount Kenya, and it is in vain. For the last 6 months, I think the last time they shared a podium was when the president was actually in Nyanza at one point. So for the last 6 months, Ndindi Nyoro has never attended event by President William Ruto, even in Mount Kenya. Remember, these were his campaign machineries. The reports that they call UDA WhatsApp group, where he also belongs, he has maintained the same silence and even changed the number. So it's speculation that probably the number that is using there is not one that can reachable, or rather the one is not he's active on. So the same isolation, the way he has isolated himself in Parliament, even in that engagement with the UDA MPs that is supposed to happen in a core WhatsApp group, he's also not been part of this. Now, the other report is that Ndindi Nyoro is the head of budget committee in the National Assembly and been sitting in terms of the budget, and despite of making allocations and defending the allocations for JSS because it aligned with education, so that support the CBC, such was scrapped by the cabinet, and only for the new cabinet secretary for treasury to come and speak about that, saying that probably they were not going to employ as was put in the budget, and they pushed it to January next year, which has also not been effected. So there have been a bit of fallout even at the budget formulation. Remember, even throughout, even the day the MPs were voting for finance bill, Ndindi Nyoro was not in the picture. Now, allegedly, the nationwide state-sponsored trips were suppressed for political insecurity. Remember, he used to get the time to move across the country different parts of the country to just address things, probably issues on attending Harambes and supporting other UDA MPs who had projects here and there. So that also seemed to have been suppressed under the guise of him making political expedients. Now, multiple media reports indicate that away from the camera, Ndindi Nyoro has been part and parcel of Rigathi Gachagwa's rescue mission and has been holding meetings, confidential meetings with the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua throughout the impeachment process as he disengages from the removal bravado that was being hyped by Kine Chungwa and the team in the National Assembly. Now, this is a very key game changer. Remember, his seat away from Parliament, right away from the motion, from when the motion was presented, even from the debate, and even at the time Kindiki was being appointed as the replacement, there have been a lot that has been keeping on. We understand that he's believed to be the link between Mount Kenya Murang'a tycoons and Mount Kenya tycoons who believed and had been warning that while the region is marveling at Rigathi removal, but this could be part of the wider scheme to disenfranchise the Gema nation. Now, this is a narrative that has been in the streets, and if you read around, you will see people engaging. There were even a leakage saying that that Gema needed to come out and look at the wider picture. What exactly is in stake? Despite of them getting all the cabinet slots and what they need, but if they entertain that position, getting away, Rigathi removal on those flimsy grounds, but the real sense, the real target is to disenfranchise the community from the state power, something they've enjoyed for long. The members of parliament, you also have to remember that the members of parliament who voted against Rigiji from Murang'a voted against that Rigiji impeachment, except Betty Maina, who is the women rep from Murang'a. The Kangema MP, the Gatanga MP, Meriwa Maragwa, they all, and the Senator, John Nyutu, they all supported the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, a position that pundits argue was also held by Ndindi Nyoro, but probably he did just go public and he decided to keep off that process. The Ruto Fallout with Ndindi Nyoro is attributed to this new trend. If you will check, currently Mwangi wa Iria, who belongs to Azimio la Umoja, and after Raila walked out of Azimio, he was remaining with the Kalonzo faction. Kalonzo faction did not support Rigathi Gachagua impeachment, but Mwangi wa Iria, the former governor, has been coming out in public to associate with William Ruto when supporting the Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment. Something that has been seen as part of the story, as part of the wider scheme to bring someone in the fold. In any case, Ndindi Nyoro decides to leave the space. Now, what are the stakes? What are the stakes? People have really spoken about other factors in it. What are the stakes of Mount Kenya? And especially why someone might think, Ndindi Nyoro might think, he doesn't want to associate with that scheme. So I want to explain for you that in details, but before that, let me remind you about our Granicare project in Nyandarua, 100 Bob Challenge. We are pushing. We want to go and make 3 houses. By the unit cost per house is around 83,000. So for the 3, we need around 249,000. Probably just an estimate of 250. So we will spend the whole week. I shall be there on Sunday. Yes, on Monday. So from Monday to Sunday, we shall ensure that we start that process. We'll build one, tukimaliza, naonyesha nyingine, tena nyingine. So for the whole week, we'll be in Nyandarua just to make sure that we do so by the time so the reports will be involved and coming out, we will be based in Nyandarua. Kindly subscribe, kindly support this, any amount. Thank you for those who are contributing. Even you can contribute 10,000, 5,000, because we najua the take up ni pole pole. And I've seen people saying, Kevin, I paid 1,000, nalipewa watu 10, paid 200, and nalipewa watu wili, and just be grateful for this to achieve. Now, let's get to this. What are the stakes? Kimani Ichung'wah was leading in Rigathi Gachagua removal in parliament. And I can tell you, if you listen to the speeches by Kimani Ichung'wah, he speaks these two things, that I fought Uhuru Kenyatta, I defeated Uhuru Kenyatta when Uhuru Kenyatta was the president. Who is Rigathi Gachagua when Rigathi Gachagua is just a mere deputy? And if you listen to his language, his objective, what Kimani Ichung'wah wants to achieve to his end, if you ask me, he wants to project this narrative and speak that probably he fought the king. And so by fighting the king, and now Rigathi was the other king, that will be his way to kingpinship. That is something that is there. And of course, some of the Mount Kenya MPs, you could hear Kimani Ichung'wah speaking in parliament that we are waiting to protect young MPs from Mount Kenya who are being harassed and intimidated for having a contrary opinion. So to my end, this is something that probably Ndindi Nyoro have seen, that while the MPs are cheering Rigathi Gachagua impeachment, but some self-seeking politician, some self-seeking characters like Kimani Ichung'wah are using it for their own political expediency. There is something I've been saying here. Do you know that there was a list of Kera, I think it was Kenha, that was released Kura, that roads that had to be repaired. So apparently Kikuyu constituency got more kilometers, Kikuyu as a constituency got more kilometers than any other county in this country. One constituency was allocated more kilometers than any other county, even in Mount Kenya. And so you could see, and by that I can tell you that in Kikuyu constituency, Kimani Ichung'wah is really doing wonders. So gets a lot of resources to Kikuyu constituency. That one you can't doubt. So I think probably some politicians in the caliber of Ndindi Nyoro have read this and have realized that going through that direction, probably just marveling at that Rigathi Gachagua impeachment blindly is falling into unnecessary trap. Number two, Ndindi could also be reading the ground and the betrayal politics that was run against Uhuru Kenyatta. If Rigathi Gachagua decides to fight back, and I've been saying that, you know, our politics is local and our politics is still based on, on sympathy. Sympathy is a tool in politics. Then it will be very difficult, even for the brand of politicians, if Ruto fails to deliver and those voices of dissent coalesces around Rigathi Gachagua, and they manage to get a political vehicle to move around Mount Kenya and decampaign William Ruto, then it will be very difficult. Even seasoned politicians like Kimani Ichung'wah that have enjoyed being in parliament for long might really find it difficult, might not find the ride very easy in the Kikuyu constituency. So I think they're just removing the politics, some politicians like Ndindi Nyoro reading the mood of betrayal. And if they fall for that trap, probably their goose is also cooked. The other issue is an alternative way on Ruto succession. The truth be told here is, if Ruto gets 2027, the 2027 election is where succession starts. It ends in 2022. It might end at that 2027, it might start and end there, or it might start in 2027 and end in 2032. I've always been leaving that open. So, the Ruto succession in future, whichever way, those who go away from his shadow stands the chance to succeed him than those who move around his shadow. What I mean is this. I think Ndindi Nyoro might make a political kill if he goes against William Ruto in Mount Kenya, and especially on that succession, because you can't succeed, if you want to succeed government, then you will carry the burden of incumbency. And at that time when the government is leaving, it cannot be popular. People cannot clap at you when you're leaving. In fact, Kenyans will always say, Maliza Wende. So probably they are also looking at this and is setting a ground to ensure that he doesn't go with the shadow of President Ruto. Lastly, I've been told about this quite a matter of times, that when the cabinet was dissolved, William Ruto wanted to reshuffle the cabinet, and he wanted to drop Remember, Murang'a have 2 cabinet secretaries. So that was Ndung'u, that was Nyoro Ndung'u, the treasury, and Alice Wahome in lands. So William Ruto was planning to drop one and replace one with Ndindi Nyoro. So that was either Ndung'u or Alice Wahome. But Ndindi Nyoro was not very, did not accept those offers. So that is the first standout. So, but if you ask me, probably wanted to drop Alice Wahome, because Alice Wahome was riddled with many issues. But on the matter of treasury, that was preserved for William Ruto, so William Ruto was able to dangle with it. By the way, hata leo kiamua anatoa Mbadi anapatia someone from Ogiek or someone from a minority, he can still do it. Because if you listen to what Rigathi said, it was given to Mbadi because Luo had lost Ogola, who was the senior most leader in government, and then they had to bring someone on board. Now, that was the first one, he dropped. The other one was about and that was the formation of the broad-based government. Then, at the Rigathi impeachment, there was a push for him to replace Rigathi, which also declined. Remember, he's the person that was being schooled, was being touted as the cowboy, as the man who was being packaged by Ruto to take over. He declined. And even at the interior docket, Raila Odinga has fronted Junet Mohammed to take over that position from Kindiki. The clearest indication that Ndindi Nyoro is still not in the picture. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is my take on this. Kindly support our mission, support this channel. Apart from political analysis, we normally do charity projects. So, and one of our flagship projects in this project is Granny Care. So, Granny Care is shelter for the old. So, we do regions. We did Coast. Now we are doing here. I think before December, before January next year, we'll do another place. Yeah, someone was really telling me somewhere else. So we'll look at those other areas. But ladies and gentlemen, this is my take. Kindly support and let's build this together. Thank you.